So I'm a game developer by trade, game developer, game designer, and startup entrepreneur. Symbol Zero is a game studio that I founded. I've done a few game studios, and before that, I'd worked in larger game publishers. Places like Electronic Arts, Activision, 2K Games, Nintendo, and others. So with Symbol Zero, we started off doing more traditional games for PC, console, and mobile. We've done some work earlier in the VR space and with mobile AR. You realize that what you're really talking about in play to earn is kind of pay to exploit, because what you're really saying is that a bunch of white people who are early adopters will get in, get the things at low prices, and then they will rent or sell to other people who come in later who are told that they can work in this. And what I'm starting to see is people in the Philippines and Vietnam who didn't have good access to the ability to remote work, who are then in Axie Infinity. But as the price rises in this semi-exploitative environment, the price for entry for 3 Axies went up to 500, 1,000, 1,500 US. And you're going, in order to start playing this thing, you have to pay around 14, 1,500 US as of the middle of last year. And I think it's now 2,000 US. And then you find Facebook groups that are being funded for scholarships by a combination of Silicon Valley and Chinese money. And they're asking people to come in and take what are essentially loans in order to purchase an entry to this thing, almost like a poker ante, to then work for 6 months to pay off a loan. And that to me sounds like virtual indentured servitude. A game should be fun, first and foremost. It should be a leisure time activity. It doesn't mean that some amount of people won't work. But usually those people are creators. They're a YouTube streamer, or a Twitch streamer, an influencer who's posting a lot of things, or it could be a mod maker who's building something and then selling it, or effectively who's sharing their work. But the notion that lots of people should go in, I find it troubling. And the reason is because the way a lot of this blockchain crypto NFT space is set up is that the early adopters reap the greatest amount of rewards. And that starts to, if you're not careful, sound like a pyramid scheme. One game that mostly seems to have an economy, and actually that economy is tanking right now, the SLP price in Axie Infinity, because it's so speculative, like a lot of the crypto market, has lost 2/3 of its value in the last 2 months. So in contrast to something like Second Life, and there are better experiences out there than Second Life, but Phil Rosedale has said, he'd said recently that they tried to keep the value of the Second Life dollar to the US dollar as a consistent thing, because he understood that you can't have a currency and also have it be speculative. And similarly, he's also said that that the value of most virtual things should be lower than their value in real life. So the thing I don't like about NFTs is that they're taking a thing that has no value and then jacking it up to incredible amounts and saying, oh, this thing is worth any amount of value. So it's a bubble and people are excited, but most of this is old technology, and a lot of these things have been proven 10, 15, 20 years ago, and they need to calm down. You don't actually understand how many pieces are needed to get to a metaverse, and you don't know how far away it is. Being frank, the world global infrastructure cannot handle that much 3D data moving back and forth. On a structural level, we need to upgrade everything, not just the computers, but the routers and the switches and the cables that would tie everything together. Right now, they're at about their limit for stream, for like the web. The web is on the internet, and the web has text links. It's text links, 2D images, streaming audio, and then streaming video. And those have come in. The web goes back to 92, and before that you had BitNet, and before that you had ARPANET. The internet is a construction. It technically started, I guess, around 89, but it really kind of took off where the internet and BitNet overlapped by about 3 years. And then the internet kind of took off when the web started in 92 and really became popular around 95, 96 with Netscape Navigator. If we make a metaverse, it's not on the web and it's not on the internet. It's the next thing after. It's Internet 2.0, but not like, oh, we just tweak the internet. It's the whole thing after that. And these things will overlap by a little bit, but we have to get to a thing where the amount of network traffic is 100 to 1,000 to 10,000 times more than what we currently have. Rendering is not yet there. It's not that it has to be realistic, but our devices can't handle the amount of network bandwidth, the physics, the graphics rendering, the audio rendering, and the AI to actually do a metaverse. And what we have right now is peak internet, and we've got a bunch of games, and those games don't run, and those game platforms, they don't run on the web, but they do run on the internet. So right now the internet holds the web. I know my hands are popping in and out, but basically the internet holds several things. I'll do it here. So, the internet's basically holding the web, games, streaming audio, and streaming video, all those four things together. Right. The metaverse needs to put all those things together to where they are all real-time rendered and synchronous, so that there's a consistency and a persistency. You see, 8 to 10 years, we'll have better experiments and early versions of that are far more complex, but we probably still won't have a metaverse until somewhere in the 2030s if we decide that we want it and it doesn't kill us in climate change because of the energy expenditures. It's all early experiments, and that's okay. Like that doesn't mean that it's bad or that we won't get there. But people forget how many little steps to get to a big thing.
Right, absolutely.
I think that we have the ability for more people to just be online, for more people to customize the things that they play, the things that they purchase, and to find ways to have consistent and unified accounts and some amount of common identity.